What's up, Venom CrossFit? So we're here today with Neil Krebs, amid Corona 2020. The gym is empty behind us, as you can see.
Yeah, it's sad.
It is sad. The gym is empty behind the camera, which you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, there's Carly back there. Hi, Carly. She's always here, somewhere lurking, videoing us. So we wind up on social media.
Absolutely.
So we kind of threw Neil into this podcast. He's here. We're social distancing. But I think Neil's going to have an interesting story to tell us. I think it's going to be something that we're all going to benefit from hearing. So, Neil, you know, because you've been around this long enough, we're going to hit you with a few questions.
Ready for it, man. Let's do it.
Okay. Why are manholes round?
Because when they designed them, they had to cut corners.
That's a good. I don't know. I like it. I'll buy it. Okay. If all of your basic human needs were met, right? You were on a deserted island, food, water, shelter, all the things. You get to take two things with you, and it can't be one of them. They can't be people. What do you take with you?
Ooh. All needs are met.
All basic human needs are met.
Man, that's a tough one. I'd definitely probably take some exercise equipment, man. And you'll find out why here in a little bit when I share my story.
Okay. There's one.
Yeah.
It's all, both of them are exercise equipment, or?
You know, I'll take some exercise equipment and then, man, I don't even know. I want to say a TV, bro, you know, because I just want to hang out. But then, like, I feel like we're on a fitness podcast. That's a really bad thing to say.
I mean, it's for your rest and recovery, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, it's to watch videos of workouts to learn more workouts.
I'm by that.
Does that work?
Yeah, I'll buy it.
All right, cool.
That's fine to me.
Cool, I'll go with that.
Yeah, okay. What was the last gift you gave someone?
The last gift that I gave someone, oh, man. You know, if you would have asked me this in a few weeks, it's my wife and I's
I touched
anniversary.
my face. I shouldn't have done that. Damn it.
I'll spray your face with some hand sanitizer here in a second.
Okay, thank you.
All right, cool. You know, if you would ask me here in a few weeks, it was me and my wife's anniversary here in a few weeks, and so I would have had a really cool thing, but I don't want to say it now in case this comes out before then.
It definitely will.
Yeah, so let's not say that.
Okay.
But you know what? My wife and I, we went to the fitness place downtown, 23 Fitness, and bought some equipment because my wife really wanted to start working out at home because, again, all the gyms are shut down, including hers that she worked out at here in town. And so this is just an opportunity for her, you know, and I was like, hey, if this is what you want, you know, this is kind of what you want to be about, what you want to do now, let's get you set up. And so we went in and bought her some awesome equipment that she can be working out at home, you know, and so I think she kind of counted that as a gift. She was definitely, you know, very thankful for that. So we'll call that the gift.
That's a gift that you get too, though, right?
Yeah, until the gym opens back up, for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and then the last question, and you should know this because we ask everybody, what is your morning routine?
Morning routine. Typically wake up about 5 or 5:30, take a little restroom trip, you know, just hang out.
Vital,
definitely. Typically grab some water. You know, that's kind of been a consistent thing lately, especially since I listened to one of y'all's first podcasts. You talked about drinking water in the morning. It's incredible how much that's helped me in my morning routine and just being hydrated, feeling better throughout the day. Typically, after just spending some quiet time, doing a little reading, I love popping open my Bible and just getting into a verse or two, doing a morning daily devotion. After that, it's typically check email. Is there anything important throughout the day? Check my schedule, make sure I've got everything that I need to get done on there, and then get into a workout, whether that's at 6 a.m. or at 9 a.m. If it's at 9 a.m., typically I'll get some work done beforehand. But a lot of times I try to get that workout in early just because it's a great just mood booster for the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I was listening to a guy talk the other day, and he kind of said one of the things that for a lot of people, fitness isn't something that they want to do.
Right.
You know, but you'll be surprised how committed you can stay to fitness if you'll just get up and do something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you know you need to do, right?
Yeah.
Like the famous Navy SEAL speech of make your bed.
Right.
Right. Who just like, yep, I love making my bed every morning. Not this guy.
Yeah.
Right. But if you get up and make your bed, then it's just start the day off.
Right.
Right. It's controlling what you can control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of people, you know, they get into it because it's like, well, I want to look better or I want to shed some weight or things like that. But, and again, we're about to get into this here in just a second. It becomes about so much more than that. And you don't realize it until you start to kind of fall off of that wagon.
Oh, yeah.
And so having that exercise, having that time of just movement, it doesn't even need to be this extreme deal. Just movement, being active. It's a huge mood booster, and it sets the tone for your day. You know, that's why these guys don't want to take rest days, you know, every week, because it's like, you know, I love my mood boost. I love my endorphins going through the roof. I want to get in the gym, but you got to rest too. And so, you know, active recovery is a deal, but still having that rest. So,
yeah. So before we dive real in, you know, I think there are some people here that they know Neil, but they don't know where Neil came from. Right, and you born and raised in Brenham, right?
Born and raised, left, and then ventured back home. Yeah, we'll give like the 45-second Neil timeline.
Okay.
So I was born and raised here in Brenham, graduated 2005 from Brenham High School. You know, got out of Brenham, went to North Texas for a semester, did a semester there, did about 6 months in Florida at a university there, back to Denton for a year and a half, and then College Station in 2008. Worked for H-E-B for 5 years, became a manager there. 2013, moved back to Brenham after the birth of our oldest son, Dominic. Moved back to Brenham, worked for a landscape company here. I've worked for ranch management. I've done my own business with Christmas lighting, you know, and then for the past 4 years, I've been working at a church here locally as the youth pastor. And so I'm in the middle of transitioning out of that right now as we begin to find the new guy. You know, just really felt God leading me into the next season of life. And so it's really exciting time. And we do have 2 other boys, Vincent and Connor. So our 3 boys, the oldest 2 are 21 months apart. The younger 2 are 12 months, 5 days. And so right now, until my oldest turns 8 in June, our boys are 5, 6, and 7. And so with all this COVID-19 stuff going on, with all 3 of them at home, my wife is a superhero.
May the Lord bless you.
Yeah.
May the Lord keep you.
You know, I'm still working. I'm locking myself in my office and having to work. My wife is the one that's really at home. She's the one, you know, making sure that they're doing their schoolwork, keeping them fed and entertained. You know, it's been a huge disruption to her daily schedule. And it's hard, but at the same time, I mean, she's just incredible what she's doing with that. So
yeah. I mean, I can only echo that with what Shelby does at home. You know, our oldest 2 are 21 months apart, and they fight like they're 21 months apart, but they love each other like they're besties. And then a 7-month-old baby at home too. Yeah. So she is a rock star because all of you know, most people, like my other job, I don't get. We're considered essential, right? Thankfully. Never thought I'd say I'm happy to have a government job. But now's not the time to tell people we're from the government and we're here to help. Yeah. But she's holding down the fort big time. And it has thrown a massive wrench in the system that they're having figured out. And then, you know, we kind of talked even today. They were off their schedule because, you know, we're recording this on a Friday. I'm usually not home on a Friday. So for me to be home on a weekday in the middle of the week when they're already off their schedule and then now Dad's home to go do stuff, it threw it even more off schedule. Right. And so we just kind of wrote the day off of we're just not going to worry about school or what we're doing today.
Sure. You know, and you got to remain flexible. Whenever you're kind of in an environment like this where everything's just kind of up in the air, you really don't know what's going to happen. You know, for those that they need that structure, they're type A, it's like we do this at this time, you know, they're struggling right now. Yeah. If you can learn to kind of let go of some of that, then it relieves a lot of the pressure that comes with the structure. Yeah. But it also, it provides so much opportunity for some fun with your kids and some fun with your family. You know, taking that impromptu trip just into the backyard to play in the sprinkler. Yeah. You know, for you, it's like, you know, kind of a simple deal, but man, your kids are going to remember that forever. Oh yeah. You know, they're not going to remember the outbreak of 2020. They're going to remember, oh man, you remember that time we got to stay home with Mom and Dad for a few weeks? Oh,
that's some of the coolest things I've seen. You know, it talks about, you know, in 20 years, what you're going to look at and you're going to see us and all we're going to remember is the pandemic and the grocery store and people losing jobs. And our kids are going to say, I remember having dinner every night together. Right. I remember staying at home and playing.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're going to have the greatest memories.
Yep.
And hopefully become another one of the great generations that I think we've been missing over the last,
Right.
30 to 50 years, because we haven't had that.
For sure.
So we kind of went off track of that.
That's
but it's a
all
good
right.
thing. It's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
thing. How did you find Brenham CrossFit? How long have you known? Let me rephrase that question.
Sure.
How long have you known about us, and how long did it take you to come to us?
Man, to be 100% honest, I've known about Brenham CrossFit since the day they opened.
Yeah.
CrossFit was one of those deals where in the beginning I was kind of like, that's not really for me. I was one of those guys, I just wanted to look good, right? I wanted to get bigger. I wanted to lift heavier weights. And so when I was living in College Station, I was working out with like a bodybuilder that ran our health department, Healthy Living with HEB, and another assistant store director that was kind of a bigger guy, and they were always pushing me to get bigger. And then when we came to Brenham, I kind of fell away from the gym scene for a while. It was one of those deals where due to finances, we weren't able to do it at the time. But and there's a lot more to this than I'll be able to explain on one podcast, but I ended up going through some health issues where I had an autoimmune disease develop within my digestive tract in that. And it really took me downhill quick. Mm-hmm. And so after dealing with that for about a year and doctors not being able to find a medicine that could help keep it under control, there were days where I couldn't function right. We ended up taking a bunch of students with the church to a mission project right outside of town at Camp Blessing. And during the course of that week, it was a lot of manual labor. And again, this is before I got back into the gym. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of manual labor. And one of the things I noticed about halfway through the week is my symptoms had reduced drastically. After that week, I realized, okay, well, if moving more and exercising more is going to keep the symptoms down, I don't care what the finances look like. I'm going to get back in the gym because I'm either going to spend the money on the gym or I'm going to spend it on my health,
right?
And the doctor's visits.
Yeah.
So I got back in the gym and I spent about 2 years at Brenham Fitness, just kind of working out there. During that time, I had one of the other guys with Brenham PD ended up convincing me to run a obstacle course race. I'd always wanted to do one, but had never found somebody to do it with. So we both signed up. The unfortunate side is he had to drop out like 2 days before to cover a shift. So I went and ran this thing by myself. I don't like doing things like that by myself, but when I got out there and I started meeting people, and then these 3, folks that were like, hey, come run with us, ran with them, awesome people. We just had a blast, and I got addicted to this stuff. I only signed up for one, but as soon as I got done, of course, they send you a coupon. And it's like, well, I want to do like
right.
10 more
next
month, right? And so I ended up signing up for 2 more races that year and ended up adding another one later on in the year as well. Ended up running 4 obstacle course races my first year. As I was running those races and actually beginning to sign up for the competition waves, I realized, I'm not going to be able to train the way that I need to train just going to a gym. Right. I need to get somewhere where the functional movements are more. You don't lay on a bench in an obstacle course race and bench press something. You don't just get into a squat rack and squat something.
Right.
I mean, you're lifting sandbags, you're doing bucket carries. It's a lot of grip intensive obstacles. And so at that point I realized if I really want to do this, I've got to start getting into a functional training, and I couldn't afford a personal trainer, but CrossFit was kind of that in between. And so when y'all ended up running a challenge, I figured, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try it out. And when I got here, man, week 1, I was hooked. Just the encouragement that you get and the fact that you have a programmed workout. I don't have to figure out what do I need to do. I don't need to figure out, okay, well, what's the best exercise for me today? It's already written out, and I have somebody teaching me form. I have somebody teaching me, this is what you need to be doing to scale if you can't do this yet. Because I can remember my second day. Man, I tried to pick up a barbell I had no business picking up, and literally there was about 10 people just watching me. And my first thought was, wow, how shameful was that? But it was just encouragement afterwards, like, don't worry, man, you'll get there.
Right.
I'm like, man, this is what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
And through all of the training here, I've seen my times for the obstacle course races increase. I've seen what I like to call obstacle immunity, the fact that an obstacle's not going to take me out. Right. I've seen that shoot through the roof. And so I can fly through these obstacles because my grip's there, my strength is there, my endurance is there. All of those things have increased as I've been here at Brenham CrossFit.
That's super great to hear. I mean, I think, and it's what we preach all the time, right? But I love having third-party credibility on it that, a lot of what we have in our gym is not a competitive style, but it's a lifestyle thing.
Right.
But you can take the same workouts, maybe introduce a little bit more intensity to them.
Right.
And it's paying off dividends for you in the OCR world.
Yeah.
That there is some carryover,
Mm-hmm.
but we're also not asking you to run half a mile between doing workouts, right?
Yeah.
So it's just paying off, right?
Absolutely.
You know, and we've seen guys that have never run a marathon and just train CrossFit
Mm-hmm.
and go out and run a marathon.
Yeah.
Did they win it? No.
No.
Did they die from it? No. It just functional fitness carries over to absolutely everything you do.
Yeah. And I mean, even watching some of the people interact in the Facebook group, you know, I can remember one person posting about how their accomplishment was getting the groceries up the stairs
Mm-hmm.
and not getting winded. You know, there's people who it's not always about being this competitive person. Yeah, that's my story, but that's not everybody's story here. And the cool thing is we're coming together as a community and encouraging one another. You know, some people are saying, wow, you know, you're doing an awesome job. You're growing into this competitive person, this athlete, you know, and I'm encouraging them because they're shedding the pounds that they want to shed, or they are getting the energy back to play with their grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so many people here for so many different reasons, but we're all in this journey together.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we've always preached that we're all different walks of life, but
Mm-hmm.
this kind of all becomes a staple in our schedule where we come together and nobody, and I don't want to say nobody, a lot of people know each other outside the gym,
Right.
but a lot of people are a lot closer now,
Mm-hmm.
or you've made totally new friendships inside the gym that you probably never would have made
Right.
if you didn't come inside these walls, into a place where you don't put your headphones in,
Mm-hmm.
into a place where you don't, you know, you do make eye contact with people.
Yep.
And you have to know their name because we're probably going to partner you up with them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we're going to get you to high five and do all those things.
Absolutely.
It's super important.
Absolutely.
And how that, you know, even for you as somebody who's taking this venture off into, you know, starting your own business and it's just building relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has helped you start this whole new business of just meeting people.
Right.
Right. And so I think it's cool that you see a physical side of how I'm growing and getting better at things, but I'm also leveling up my relationships
Mm-hmm.
with people. That's going to carry me further and further and further into everything that I want to do,
Yeah.
you know? So talk a little bit about, you know, I think you just had an experience
Yeah.
of what it's like when you've been hitting the gym and you've been doing all these things and you get that endorphin rush and all of a sudden that kind of accountability gets yanked away from you.
Yeah.
Right. And
Oh,
to
man.
no fault of your own, no fault
Right.
of us,
Right.
thanks to Corona.
Yeah.
But explain what happened and how you kind of walked through that.
it was tough. I mean, we kind of knew, you know, when Governor Abbott was mentioning, hey, you know, we're gonna have to shut down the gyms and that, we kind of knew it was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so come Friday when we were gonna have our last class before having to shut down, even Friday, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't need to go in. I'll let somebody else work out that needs to work out, because we were limiting to 10 or less.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I'll just work out at home. I've got this. I've been consistent. You know, I've been going to the gym. We've got a few things here that I can work out with. I'll go for a run. As we got through Friday and Saturday and then Sunday, and I was like, well, I'm going to work out Monday. Well, I got up and, man, I did the most piddly workout ever just because I did not have the drive and the motivation to get out in my driveway in my garage and do anything. And so it was like, well, you know, it's kind of day one, no big deal, just ease into it. The next day, I ended up going for a run, planned on doing a workout when I got back, didn't happen. Just got busy, got distracted. I say got busy, I got distracted really is what it was. And so by Tuesday evening, you know, all of the stuff on the news, all the stuff on social media, all the things going around, all the just not having the structure again, I began to literally fall into what I have a lack of explaining it better than just almost a depression.
Yeah.
I told my kids, hey, you know, we're going to build a blanket fort, you know, on Tuesday. Our church is putting out a family challenge, build a blanket fort, post it, you know, whoever has the best fort, we'll take them dinner. So I told my kids, hey, Tuesday, we're going to build a blanket fort. I can remember my kids walking into the office about 3:30, 4 o'clock and asking, hey, Dad, are we going to build that blanket fort? And I remember my first thought was like, I have no desire to do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to mess with the kids right now. I don't want to mess with my family right now. I'm gonna sit here because I need to figure out all this stuff. I've got to figure out what we're gonna be doing for work. I got to be figuring out, how we're gonna get toilet paper and how we're gonna get to the grocery store and do it. And literally, my mind was just spinning with all these things that were like, I need to do this. I need to do this. And I was worrying about it. And typically, I don't do that.
Yeah.
And so that night, I finally got out of that chair and said, all right, boys, let's build the fort. So we built the fort. We go outside. The boys are riding bikes. And I'm sitting next to my wife, and she asked me, well, what does tomorrow look like? And I'm telling her. And she said, okay, well, I'm going to wake up at 5:30 and do a workout. The cool thing is, fun train right there.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, and I got to give her kudos, my wife has been consistent. Ever since she couldn't go to the gym, she has been the one that's been consistent. And man, a couple of years ago, it was typically me saying like, oh, you need to be consistent.
Yeah.
Now she was the one being consistent and I wasn't. And I'm sitting there next to her and she's asking me what my day looks like so that she can get a workout in. She said, okay, we got a packed day Wednesday, so I'm going to do a workout at 5:30 a.m. And I told her, I said, would you please make sure I get up and do a workout? And as I got up, I started even thinking that morning, well, I'm just going to kind of come up with something. I'll do some burpees or something. But then I even told myself, I'm like, no, Andy and Shelby, Burnham CrossFit, man, they're putting out some workouts. Let me get this workout. Let me figure out what the Train 45 is and let me do it.
Because you said train at the exact right time.
Yeah, Train 45.
Carly, make that train go away.
Yeah, can you drop a train noise reduction?
Yeah.
She's flagging it away.
Yeah.
Okay, they're turning.
Okay.
Yeah. The funny thing is they're not supposed to honk their horn in town.
I think it's only because they come right here by the gym. And there's no crossing. Okay, I think he's gone.
Awesome. All right, so now that we kind of let that train go by, that was a little distracting there.
Yep.
So just kind of talking about that Wednesday morning, my wife made sure I got up. She told me, hey, you told me to get you up. I said, okay. So I got up, and I was going to do just kind of a piddly workout, but I realized, I was like, the gym's putting out these Train 45 workouts. If I do what I want to do, I'm not going to go hard on it. I'm not going to do what I need to do.
Right.
If I have this scheduled workout that I've become so accustomed to and I stick with it, then I've got to do it. I've got to finish it. And so I grabbed a weight, that y'all loaned us out, that y'all rented out to us. I grabbed, I think we had a kettlebell in there and that, and I grabbed a little yoga mat that my wife had and I laid it down for our lunges and that. And I got to it. And halfway through the workout, I have to admit, I was ready to quit because I wasn't as motivated. I didn't have somebody, telling me, hey, keep at it. You got this. You're halfway through. You're 3/4 of the way through, all of those things. I didn't have that person next to me encouraging me. And I didn't have somebody that I can encourage because I find it encouraging for me if I can encourage someone else.
Right.
I didn't have that. I'm sitting in the garage by myself. And I put my hands on my knees during a rest period. And I thought to myself, I could stop right now. Nobody would know. And it'd be fine. And I can go, just shower and call it a day. And then I thought to myself, and I'm like, but what am I going to think about myself if I do that? How am I going to feel? And so I got my hands off my knees. I picked up the weight and I kept going. And afterwards, I was drenched. It was a humid day. It was hot that morning. The garage was warm. And went and showered, normal morning. And it wasn't until about mid-morning or almost about lunchtime that I realized my mood was like through the roof. Like I felt so good. All of the depression, all of the worry, all of that stuff. I mean, all the problems were still there, but I wasn't as worried about it.
Right.
And the only thing that I did different that day was I put in a good workout. That's it. I can't honestly say that I ate any better that morning. I can't honestly say that I slept any more that night. I can't say that, I did anything different other than push myself to do a workout that I knew that I needed to do, that I would have done if I could have been here in the gym.
Yeah.
That's it. And the endorphin release and the way that it affected my day was so incredible that I got to the end of Wednesday and I was like, I am never missing a morning workout again. Because I am not going to allow myself to start backsliding into that depression, into that bad mood, into that allowing the worry, and as a believer, I believe it's the enemy. He gets at us. I'm not going to give him that opportunity again.
Yeah.
I realize, when people say our body is a temple physically, they're taking it a little out of context, but really God's given me this body. God's given me this health to take care of. And it's not just about the physical health, it's about the mental health as well. And that physical well-being leads into a mental and emotional well-being as well. And so that is one of the things that I'm really going to make sure that during this social distancing, when I can't be working out with my buddies and be encouraging one another, I'm going to do it through social media the best that I can. But I got to make sure, for my own sake and for the sake of my family, that my emotional well-being, my mental well-being is good for them. I'm not going to miss that workout again. I'm going to make sure that I get it done, not just so I can stay fit, but so I can stay mentally and emotionally fit.
And I think that's the key,
Mm-hmm.
right? I preach it all the time
Mm-hmm.
that working out does so much more for the mind
yeah.
than it does for the body, right?
Yeah.
It'll come. And the working out for the body will come. There's just
Mm-hmm.
it's science. It has to,
Yeah.
right? You pick things up over and over and you put them down, you're going to get stronger,
Absolutely.
right? But what it does for your mind is huge,
Yeah.
right? As Shelby and I, we know without even asking when one of us hasn't been consistent about working out, because we can see it in our attitude. We can see it, I can see it in how I treat people.
Yeah.
I can see it in how I treat my kids. And it's one of those, hey, looky here, you lazy sack.
Yeah.
You might not want to get up and do that in the morning, but you better do it for those 3 kids and that wife you have it.
Yep.
Right? And then you feel so much better on the backside of
Mm-hmm.
that. And that has to be the drive and the motivation for you, right? And it's different
Yeah.
for everybody.
Sure.
But I think as a parent and as a father and as a leader of a family, that has to be part of the drive to work out,
Yeah.
right? Because I have to be mentally on my game right now more than ever, right?
Yeah.
Because you and I don't think anybody living on this planet has seen anything like what's going on right now,
Right.
right? Unless you were, alive during the Spanish flu.
Yeah. Which, if you are, like, kudos.
Yeah,
That's
kudos.
awesome. You
You
probably have been in the gym too.
Yeah, you've worked out once or twice, right? I don't think you were pounding Hostess cakes and
No.
smoking and drinking your whole life. Well, maybe so. I don't know. But now more than ever, right, we've got to, number one, create some normalcy. So if you've been to this gym, right, working out's
Yeah.
a normal thing for you. So you've got to create some normalcy. But you've got to stay mentally sharp,
Mm-hmm.
because if the crazy pandemic and the virus doesn't get you, your own mind's going to get you.
Yeah.
Right? Just like you said you don't want to backslide into that depression. I think your story resonates with people because there's a lot of people out there
Mm-hmm.
that live right on that cusp,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they are right there, that the smallest of things, the smallest of changes will push them into that dark place,
Yeah.
right? And the working out is the buffer.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they maintain that buffer by working out, that they don't fall back,
Yeah.
and they don't slide into that dark hole or those negative thoughts or the laziness or whatever. Right, that
Mhm.
they have to maintain that buffer. So I think it's super important, and you just gave a real life example that working out and being fit is what keeps us out of that.
Yeah.
Right, it's not the only answer,
Yeah.
right, but it's part of the answer that we have to do.
Absolutely.
We've got to be a part of that. So I think it's super cool, and I'm very happy and grateful that you shared that story,
Yeah.
because I don't think everybody would.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a scary thing. It's personal.
Yeah. And really, I mean, I hated to admit it too, because everybody, a lot of times they see me as like, oh, you're always positive. You always have this great attitude. And so, but that's how I know when I'm not me,
Mhm.
is when I start to lose that positivity and start to lose that.
Yeah.
And so, and not just with the physical fitness too. Like, if I could just train your mind as well. A lot of time right now that we have free, don't get caught up scrolling right on social media. Because I'll tell you right now, as somebody who works in digital marketing, I know that social media, they know their job is to keep you on the platform. What keeps you on the platform? Bad news, right?
Yep.
That's why all you see when you turn on like ABC, Fox, and all that stuff, they want to show you the disasters and all of that, because nobody wants to watch the news and be like, today was a great day. They're going to lose ratings really quick, right?
Yeah.
So social media does the same thing. So all you're going to see is the bad news. So train your mind, shut down the devices for a bit. I posted on my Instagram earlier, shameless plug, NeilK_OCR. Go follow me. I'm trying to put out some good content just to keep people motivated. Sorry, had to throw that in there. You
Go
can
ahead.
edit it out, Carly, if you want to. But, like I'm reading Joe DeSena's Spartan Fit right now and Spartan Up. And again, it's not anything that is going to be mind-blowing, but it's keeping me reading. It's keeping me sharp. It's disconnecting me from the world for just a minute, from the digital world, if you will, and just, again, continuing to keep that normalcy, to keep that training of the mind, the body, and time in the Bible, time in prayer, or meditating, whatever it is that you do that.
Yeah.
Don't allow those habits to slide.
Yeah. I think one of the things I saw a lady was talking about, and I think Shelby's going to do this with some of her challenge people, is just a 10-minute brain dump.
Yeah.
Just write it down.
Yeah.
There has to be no cohesiveness or coherency to it. Just whatever you are thinking about, get it on paper.
Yep.
And then put it away and come back to it later.
Right.
Right? And then, but there's so many thoughts racing through everybody's head right now that you just need to get them out.
Yeah.
Right? And don't leave them cooped up in there. And I'm super guilty of that. Right? I've always said, if I've talked to you about it, I've probably been thinking about it for 2 weeks.
Sure.
Right? If I've even come with you with an idea or a plan, I promise you I've already thought about it 15 different times and thought about what you're going to tell me. And I've already thought, okay, now how do I rebuttal what if I brought this to you?
You've thought through the conversation 5 times before even having it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that right now, like, you don't need to be doing those things.
No.
We just need to just get it out. And if anything, what we're doing as a gym and what we're putting out, hopefully is being more proactive on helping keep people mentally fit than we are physically. If you have some sort of base physical fitness, you're not going to lose it overnight.
No.
Right? And I think our people that have been here for a while, they've got a pretty big base.
Yeah.
Right? And so if all we have to do is just maintain right now, that's perfect. That's fine. Right? It'll be great.
Yeah.
When we get back in 6, 8, 12 weeks, whatever it is, right, we're all going to be feeling refreshed. We're going to feel good. We're going to hit the ground running, and we're going to get after it.
Absolutely.
But we've got to keep our minds sharp and almost use this time to have kind of practice some mental workouts.
Absolutely.
During this. And I think if we don't, it's going to get ugly over the next 6, 8, 12 weeks for people.
Yeah. Stay moving.
Yeah, still moving. What do you think, how does working out and being consistent with that, how does that impact your kids?
Oh, man. My kids are wanting to work out. Since we've been home and working out, man, they're coming out of their rooms earlier, which I know, like, for some people, not a great thing. We're not too thrilled about it either. But they're, like, coming out of the garage, fresh out of bed, and they want to grab the weight. They want to lift stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, whenever we were getting some of the stuff for our little home garage gym, my boys were with me, and one of them comes out holding an 8-pound weight over his head saying, "I'm a strong man. I'm a strong man." And I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, you sure are. Come on." And so they want to do that stuff. They want to start getting more active. The fact that when we go outside, we live just a couple blocks from the church that I work at that has a little park. And the other day, man, we all rode our bikes up there.
Yeah.
Just to go hang out. The fact that I know I can do that and not get winded, or if I have to, I can push one bike and then help my other kid who just took training wheels off like a few days ago.
Oh, wow.
And of course it's uphill.
Yeah,
So like the fact that I have that physical capacity to do that.
Yeah.
For them, it's like, man, Dad's a superhero. And I'm not trying to be anything more to them than just Dad.
Yeah.
But the fact that they look at me, not because I'm strong, not because I'm fast or anything like that, it's because I have the energy to keep up with them and hang out with them. And when they are like, "Dad, let's go in the backyard and do this," I'm not, okay, and winded.
Right.
And so having that energy to spend time and hang out with my boys, I want to be the dad that with my grandkids, or not dad, the granddad, my grandkids later on, that my fitness level and the consistency that I've had throughout life allows me to be active with my grandkids. With the sedentary lifestyle that a lot of people live, I feel sorry for some people that their grandkids are going to want to play ball with them, and they're not going to have the ability to do it, whether that's because they don't have the strength, the endurance, or the mobility to do it.
Right.
And so I don't just see this as an investment in my kids and my family. I see this as an investment in my grandkids. And my kids are 5, 6, and 7. Like, who's thinking about their grandkids when their own kids are that young? But that's what we do. We invest in the future of ourselves, of our kids, and the future generations coming after us.
Yeah, you know, I like to think of fitness is it's really no different than money, right? We talk about compounding interest when you think of investments, right? You don't see the payoff, that curve. You know, the flattening the curve is a hot topic right now. I don't want my curve to flatten.
No,
right?
Not the fitness curve.
Not the fitness curve. But I want to see that curve, right?
Yeah.
And so as I slowly just keep kind of putting it in, and the curve kind of goes up, and then it slides for a little while.
Yeah.
But I'm in the same boat, right? I want to be the active grandfather.
Yeah.
Right? You know, selfishly, I want my son, when he's 40 years old, to think he can come pick on, you know, at that point, his 60-something-year-old dad, and I can still tell 40-something-year-old Parker, like,
bring it, boy.
not today.
Not
today. Right? But it's for the grandkids, right? I want to. How cool would it be to say, yeah, my grandpa coaches my baseball team, and you're out there getting it with them, right? Or my grandpa took me hiking somewhere.
Yeah.
My grandpa did this. Or, you know, I hope I have a better name than grandpa.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, you got a little while before that.
Well, hopefully that's not anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing is, too, is one of the dreams that I have is, you know, with these obstacle course races, all of them has kids races, right? And so when my boys started seeing me do it, they wanted to do it. So they've actually run 2, like, races for kids with Savage Race. And so they've done half mile, they've done a whole mile. You know, and my boys get so into it. My oldest, Dominic, he wants to start training to win this thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I watch them do it and they get into it and they want to get at that fitness level, you know, there's going to come a point where I'm going to be older. My kids are going to have kids. How cool would it be to have a grandfather, a dad, and a grandchild all running this thing together?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I can't wait to do that with my boys.
Yeah, and to show your kids that there's another competitive outlet, right?
Yeah.
You know, in the town I grew up in isn't much different than Brenham. Like, your competitive outlet when I was growing up was you played football, you played baseball, right?
Yeah.
You played kind of your traditional sports with nothing wrong with it, right? I learned a lot of good life lessons in there. But the fact that there's OCR races, right? There's CrossFit. Jake's a perfect example of that, right? You got a kid that never played a high school sport, but is top 10 in the world.
Yeah.
And I would argue at that point during those years was the fittest kid in 3 counties. Well, he was the fittest in Texas. We knew that.
Yeah.
And never played a traditional sport. Did he miss out on some things on that? Absolutely he did. He'll tell you that. But his fitness level and his outlet for competition was there that he might not have found doing those other things.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's just cool to see the progression on those things.
Absolutely.
But, Neil, I thank you for coming on. I know we kind of threw you in this.
Hey, anytime, man.
You know, we're all kind of just going with the flow right now thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
But we're going to wrap this up because we're about to go live on Facebook.
Yeah, we are. We're going to do a little workout.
We're going to do a little workout.
Okay.
We're going to get it in. Maybe some people will watch. They'll probably laugh at us more than anything.
If we bring some joy to the world, I'm good with that.
That's what we're going to do. So air high five, social distancing. There we go.
There we go.
Catch us, guys. Be sure, now more than ever, stay plugged into our social media. Our Facebook group, Facebook page, Instagram, all the things. Neil K_OCR.
That's it.
Right. If you need some motivational tips, somebody to just kind of say, hey, I need a little pick me up, he's your man. But hopefully we will see you soon. You'll hear from us soon. Let's keep getting after it, guys.